Okay, we are live. As all of you know, I am Smash Attack. And this guy right over here, this is Kyle, and he
What
is in the
up?
band Nine Left Dead. Kyle, would you like to tell everybody where you're from?
Probably the most miserably cold state in the U.S. right now, Oklahoma City.
Listen,
Oklahoma City.
it's no better in Pittsburgh. No better
We're
in
about
Pittsburgh.
20 hours now of being below freezing. I'm
You're not happy.
had to put on pants, and that's just miserable.
All right. So, as everybody knows, if you've watched an interview before, if you're new here, welcome. We do interviews every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And here at United Ambition, the interviews are mostly for, anybody that's getting discouraged, frustrated, even beginners. We have people on here all the time, interviewing them from the beginning of their journey into the scene or business world up until present. And it's just pretty much so everybody knows that we all go through it. It's not, all cupcakes, rainbows, and unicorn shit. And, you know, that's pretty much it. So tell me what you do in the band.
Well, I have probably the easiest job. I'm the drummer, so I pretty much just sit back and break things and bloody up my hands and get yelled at when you know nothing. I go too fast.
I don't think that I don't think you have the easiest job. I think it's more so the vocalist always has the easy job only because they have like the lesser of equipment.
Well, and it's true. A lot of people don't realize drummers, have, a lot of drummers nowadays have in-ears, clicks, backing tracks, samples. So you got a lot of things going on in your ears at once. And then on
Yeah.
top of that, you have to know what you sound like on stage. You have to feel yourself, feel your flow, you know. And I mean, there's a lot that goes on. If the drummer messes up, you know,
It's
everyone's setting
over.
their whole tempo off of you. So
Hmm.
if you mess up, it's a disaster.
Yeah. I don't even know how you get used to all the things in your ears at one time because I play Xbox. And whenever I do that and I try to listen to music plus the party and the game in my headset, I
Right.
get so damn distracted that I have to turn the music off. It's like really bad. So I don't know how you guys get used to that.
Well, and it really messes with you because now, just like I can't listen to anything. I can't listen to the radio. I can't listen to somebody talk without everything being a click. Someone will be telling me a story, just some random person or whatever, and I'm just, I'm syncing what they're saying to me as a click in my head,
It's
and it's
almost
just
like whenever you were a kid
it's
and
weird.
like counting syllables, like
Yeah,
clapping with it.
exactly. And now,
Okay.
yeah, now my kids, are counting syllables just like that. And I bought them a
Oh
metronome.
my God. Okay.
So, so now they're doing syllables to basically click tracks, which is the smartest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, hey, at least there's like an analogy to it.
right.
Um okay, so how long and what got you into drumming?
So music. I mean, music is a big part of everyone's life.
Right.
That's just a given. I think I was 13 or 14 maybe, and I was in middle school. And at that time, it was the goth kids, the popular kids, the cheerleaders, the
All the
jocks.
clicks.
I was the goth kid. At that time it was Slipknot, Slayer, wristbands and chains and
Oh
trip
yeah.
pants. Remember trip pants? Yeah.
Yep.
And so
Literally
that's
all
just
of Hot Topic 2004.
exactly with the big cemetery gates, the cool hot
Yeah.
top before it turned into this whatever it is now. But and then of course I was talking to this girl. I was 14. you know, and she loved rock music. She loved metal, Cradle of Filth, that type of stuff. And she was drawn to the drummers. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna win this girl over. I kid you not. I kid you not. I was in gym class, and we had the bleachers. Instead of being out, playing basketball or hanging out, I was making drum sets out of anything I could. Buckets, backpacks, notebooks, whatever it was. And I came home one day, and my dad had bought me this little drum set. It fit in your lap. It just had some
Oh,
circle
cool.
pads on it. You set it on your lap and plugged it in, and it had a little foot pedal, and I probably played that 7 hours a day.
Oh,
As soon as I
wow.
came home, I just plugged in my headphones, and I played it and I played it and I played it, and then eventually my parents, they bought me a kit from a pawn shop,
Okay.
and it was the most busted. It was a $200 POS drum set, and I thought I'm the next, Lars Ulrich, you
Okay.
know, Joey Jordison was my favorite drummer at the time. So I brought it home, and this is how bad it was. On a snare drum, on the bottom you have wires, a strainer, which kind of helps resonate your sound.
Okay.
I had it upside down. I had the strainer on top, so I'd be beating it. My toms were 8 miles apart. I had no idea about drums.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the hi hat was supposed to open and close. So I just I had no idea about this stuff. So I beat it every night. My parents were so annoyed. My neighbors hated me, you know. And then over that, it kind of progressed. I got a better kit. I got my first real kit, which was also from a pawn shop, but is like $800 or $900. A
Okay.
little better quality cymbals, better kit. And I started playing that. Well, I was in high school at this time. And me and my buddies, it was all the metalcore, the scene music, Bring Me the Horizon at this point, skinny jeans, bandanas.
Yep.
So we got together and started playing. And I kid you not, we practiced in my parents' kitchen.
Oh my God.
And I mean, think of like the normal kitchen size,
Yeah.
So you got two guitars, a vocalist, a bassist, and a drummer. But our hearts were so into this. And at that time at my high school, it was more to fit in, you had to be a jock or an athlete,
Yeah.
Abercrombie and all that stuff. We just played, we practiced, My first car was a Pontiac Sunfire.
Okay.
And we packed 5 of us and all of our gear in this car.
Oh my
And
God.
we played our first show at this place called The Factory that used to be real big here in Oklahoma City. And there was probably 30, 40, 50 people there, because there was some more well-known local bands playing on the show.
Okay.
We started playing. We screwed up our first song. We restarted it 3 times. This is kind of like a funny story around here, around the city.
Oh God.
It was our first show. We didn't know what we were doing. We screwed up. We kept playing. We kept restarting, but our passion. We played a couple more shows with that high school band. Eventually we broke up. Everyone tried to start other bands. I graduated high school. I joined another local band, which had pretty much lost all of its members. So they were restarting, and I joined, and I basically took over.
Okay.
I did the booking. I did the social media marketing. I did all this, and we got some big shows. And it's funny, I'm not the original drummer at Nine Left Dead.
Okay.
Our very last show we did was opening for Nine Left Dead.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it was a Halloween party. And at that time, Nine Left Dead was managed by essentially Cody and Marshall from Hinder.
Okay.
So, they were there in attendance. So, I'm playing my heart out because I'm a vibrant drummer. I'm not boring. I make stupid faces. I just, I have fun.
You just go for it.
But, long story short, and at that time I thought Nine Left Dead was basically like, the biggest thing ever. So I'm sitting at home one day and I get this call from a local promoter. They're like, hey, Nine Left Dead needs a new drummer. My heart stops.
Yeah.
And so long story short, I went and auditioned, for about a month or so. And we ended up having our first show opening up for, I don't know if you ever heard of Burn Halo.
It sounds familiar, actually. Yeah.
Really, really, really amazing band.
Okay.
Used to be members of 18 Visions. Incredible band. So that was our first show, went off really well. We had shows after that and all. And then things kind of winded down for a little bit. And I got a call one day hey, I need you to call this guy. His name's Paul Crosby.
Okay.
He's the drummer of Saliva. So I'm like, what? Okay. So I'm texting. I'm like, is this Paul? And it's a funny story. So I ended up being Paul Crosby's drum tech. I ended up going out on the road with Saliva. And it all started because
What?
Cody Hansen, he's the drummer for Hinder. His dad lives here, and he makes drum risers. He
Okay.
makes all these risers for bands. Paul had a drum riser made from Cody's dad,
Okay.
and he needed it sent to Memphis, Tennessee. They have this big old few storage units up there, where they keep their gear.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, Dad, you trying to go to Tennessee? And it's like a 10-hour drive. We went up, we loaded up the drum riser, we drove 10 hours to Tennessee, right? We get there, drop it off. Paul's not even there.
Oh
Nobody's
no.
there. Their tour manager, a guy named Jay at the time, was there. So I drop it off with him, blah, blah, blah. I'm so discouraged, you know. And then, about a few days later, I got in touch with Paul. Long story short, they flew into Oklahoma, and I actually went and picked him up.
Okay.
And we hung out. I think we went to a local bar and a tattoo shop and some stuff. And we ended up meeting the tour bus here in a different city. And it's late at night. I'm freaking out. I'm on the bus with Saliva.
Right.
At that time they just had a new record come out, the In It to Win It album.
Okay.
So and I ended up touring with Saliva, which was awesome. And then of course, when you're on the road touring, you make your connections, you meet other people.
Right.
Long story short, I went and toured with a couple other bands and all that, blah blah blah. Well, during this time, I was also married, in a pretty bad marriage. I mean,
Okay.
wasn't the best, wasn't the worst, wasn't the best. Anyways, so the end of 2019, I split with my ex-wife, and we split. I hadn't had social media through all this, so I got social media back, and I just became, networking on social media, blah blah blah. And long story short, I met a guy on social media. Um, he was a guitar tech, and he needed, someone to come tech with him.
Okay.
Well, lo and behold, his boss was a country artist named Chris Jansen.
Okay.
So Chris Jansen's one of the hottest country guys out right now. I mean, everybody knows the "Buy Me a Boat" song.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a hot song, and he's got a few others. So of course, I thought Saliva was something. I thought, joining Nine Left Dead was something. So now I'm touring with one of Nashville's hottest artists right now. And then of course, what happens in 2020? We all get sent to timeout.
Yeah.
The world gets shut down. Here I am, so stoked I got this job as a tech for Chris Jansen.
Right. Yeah.
And then 2020 happens with the pandemic. We did one show, which was at it was in North Carolina at a at a speedway. I can't remember.
Okay.
It's a very popular speedway. I'm going mind blank right now. So I'm freaking out. It was one of those drive-in shows. I don't know if you've seen how they're doing these now.
Yeah, there was a couple here in Pittsburgh.
Charlotte Motor Speedway, that's what it was.
Gotcha.
So they set up the stage and all these cars, they have rows or whatever.
Yeah.
And I did that show with him, and I was freaking out. Because that's the big times right there.
Yeah.
But and 2020 happened, so not a lot's going on. Unfortunately, it looks like 2021 is 2020's brother.
Yeah.
So me and a couple of my buddies and and members of Nine Left Dead, we got back together, and we're like, hey, let's get in the studio, let's hang out, let's start writing. And so we have been. We've done a few acoustic shows here.
Okay.
At different venues here, and we went into the studio and recorded some music. And in my opinion, by far, this is the most amazing stuff we've ever recorded. It kills me right now to have it and not be able, to send it out.
Right.
But it's also not the finished product. It's just the rough tracks. But I'm just like, I think this is what, hopefully by the end of 2021, we can get back out,
Right. Yeah.
and doing our thing, because, we miss playing shows. I miss it. Like, I hate just this whole living a normal life, you know. And when someone's blessed enough, to live in this kind of world and do this kind of job, you know, I mean, I've seen a lot of bands break up last year.
Oh yeah.
A lot of big bands, a lot of small bands. I've watched more than I've ever wanted to of music venues close.
Yep.
And it's the smaller clubs, the smaller venues that have the most amazing people.
Yep.
And they can't survive. You can't survive when you're not playing shows.
Exactly.
Luckily Oklahoma is kind of relaxed on all their COVID rules. So we've had shows here, just at reduced capacity.
Right. Yeah.
But luckily we were able to get back together and do some acoustic shows. Just kind of like, because 2020 really put out the fire in everybody.
Yeah.
So we were able to get together, and light that fire back. And then we got in the studio, and I think this is by far like our best work.
Do you guys have a release date yet?
We don't.
Oh.
And see, it's hard. And I study a lot of other bands and management companies on their strategies, because no one's ever lived through a pandemic.
Right.
Unless you were like back in the 1800s,
Right.
Whatever. Yeah. But, how do you release an album during a pandemic? Because in this day and age, you don't make money off of albums.
Right.
You don't make money necessarily off of iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, streaming services. You don't really make money off them. You have to hit the road, touring, playing shows, selling merch. That's where your moneymaker is.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of rough to spend all this money on, releasing your product, getting it out there.
Right.
And then actually, I've seen a lot of records fail in 2020 from bigger bands or, records that were supposed to be released in late 2019 still haven't been put out.
Right.
2 years later.
And that's the crazy part. Time. You would think that right now would be like the best time to drop music, just like brand new music, especially because, everybody's bored and they're all trying to find, new music to listen to. You would think it would be the best time. But sure. I completely understand what you're saying about that.
And see, that's the risk you're going to take, do you drop your record and everybody, buys it up? Because I mean, if we're going to be real here, everyone wants to do this and to be able to make a profit,
Right.
Of course, we all do it for the love, everyone does that, and I hate when people say, oh, well, they sold out, oh, well, this or that. I mean, really, everybody's dream is to make music and make a living from it.
Exactly.
And it's 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 that it ever happens. And so with a situation like this, I think you got to step back and view the bigger picture.
Right.
If you put your music out, are you going to make, now we know we're not, nobody's going to make enough money unless you're Nickelback, you're not going to make enough money, to support and live,
right.
without touring, because every band, and that's just the logistics of it. You put out an album, you tour 1
right.
or 2 years, you tour behind that album, take a couple years and let the anticipation build back up. Then boom, you record another album.
Right.
But like I said, nobody's ever lived through this, and everything's still shut down. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of places are canceling shows this year.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and I mean, I understand it. I understand. People want to be safe. I don't ever want someone to get sick or die from this.
Of course, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, do you live in fear? This is your life. This is one life.
Exactly.
And I don't necessarily, I will never blame someone for being safe.
Right.
Never. But at the same time, I've taken the risk. I probably went to 10 or 20 shows last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't wear a mask, and I know I probably should have, you know, but it's hard to enjoy a show wearing a mask.
Right. Oh
Now,
yeah.
granted, I didn't stand shoulder to shoulder with people, you know, I was a little smart about it, but
Just a little bit.
it, yeah, it's just a hard situation, you know. Nobody's right or wrong. The pro mask, the anti mask, the pro staying in, the pro going out. I
I
mean,
don't know. With all that fireball that's in your system all the time that you talk about, I think you're all right.
well, that's another thing too. See, when I drink Fireball, when I drink Fireball, I tend to think that I'm not human. I'm a machine.
Oh boy.
So, you know, I'm pretty much invincible.
Yeah.
So, and but I mean, in the bigger picture, it's a tough market, music. You know,
Right.
to I mean, we'll release some singles, you know, of course, just to get it back out there. But in terms of a whole album, there's no telling.
Yeah.
It's just
So
not
just
something we've even thought about yet. You know,
yeah, just put a little bit out to stay relevant through all
sure,
this craziness and
sure. And like me, it's burning a hole in me keeping this music, you know,
yeah,
because it's there's very few things I'm proud of in life. You know, of course, one of them are my children and being a dad, and two is the music I make.
exactly.
You know, because I want to put out some music that you know a 15-year-old me is going to hear and be like, hey, I want to do that. I want to go be a drummer. You know,
Right.
or I want to go play guitar. I want to sing. You know, that's the kind of that's what I want. Anything I release with my name on it, that's what I want to happen.
Right.
I want that 15, 16-year-old kid out there to be like, damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
So,
Do when I mean obviously the kids know that you're in music. Are they taking any interest yet?
oh, yeah. Like my son, my 7-year-old, biggest Luke Bryan fan you'll ever see. And so, you know, we'll just be cruising, driving somewhere, and we'll pop it on and we'll sing together.
Yeah.
And like, you could put me on any stage in this world, but nothing comes to the front seat and, you know, him sitting beside me
Oh, of course.
and us singing, you know, and this is actually funny. The other day, it was really cold here. So I told him we have an enclosed back porch.
Hmm.
So I was like, hey, y'all can go on the back porch and play. Well, all of a sudden I hear them in and out, in and out, in and out. And I hear this banging.
Oh no.
My 4-year-old has this little toy acoustic guitar.
Oh.
My 7-year-old's playing the guitar. And my 4-year-old had taken some pans outside. And I know. I mean, I had to get a mop for my heart after this.
He
Because
was literally the 4-year-old version of you after you just said that you were making drum sets out of anything you could.
and, and that's one of those things I always dreamed that would happen, you know, but I never thought it would actually happen until, you know,
Aww.
he's banging little pans and my son, and they're just, you know, they're starting their own little band. And I'm like, well, damn, you know, now I got to get you guys a booking agent, a tour manager, you know,
I can promote.
right there you go. But and it was just that right there that's like, you know, I mean, and you know, even if you don't make enough in life, you know, to live off of music fully for the rest of your life, it's just that right there.
Yeah,
That whole instance, that's it. Like every second up to that moment was what I wanted my
exactly.
music to accomplish. And I was like, man, that's just the coolest thing ever.
Okay, so if there are any beginners watching right now or people that are getting discouraged because of the pandemic, what advice could you give them about like not giving up and stuff?
I mean, you just, you know, I know it's so cliche, but you really can't stop believing in yourself. Just have fun. Have fun with it. Don't set your mind thinking that you're gonna, you know, you're gonna headline every arena in the country. You know, just have fun. Make music who you are. You know, study it, have fun with it, make new things. You know, and the biggest thing I preach is always, always, always practice.
Yep.
You know, piss your parents off, piss your wife or your husband or whoever off. You know, I mean, I have friends now that are in their 40s and 50s that are starting the drum. You're never too old to start.
No, absolutely.
You are. I mean, look at the guys in Metallica,
Yeah,
the Rolling Stones. These guys are doing this into their 70s. You're never too old to have fun. Because I guarantee
absolutely.
you, when you put your heart into it and you start having fun, it'll start taking off.
Yeah,
If you start, right off the bat with the mindset of, I want to do this for the fame and all that, it's not going to work.
yep.
You just got to have fun. I started playing just to impress a female. You know, you got to have a fun reason to start.
Bitches.
Don't be afraid to start that garage band that sounds god awful.
Yeah,
I've been in more than I could ever imagine. Don't be afraid to get on stage and mess up. You know, if you're of age, just chug a lot of whiskey. It's worked for me ever since.
I
You
support
know,
that.
just chug a lot of whiskey. Uh, Always keep it positive. High five everybody. Just have fun. The second you don't have fun is the second it's never going to work out.
Yeah. Well, how are the fans supposed to have fun if you're not having fun?
And I have no problem making myself look stupid on stage. You know, I make funny faces. I stick flip. You just have to have fun.
Right.
you know, if your fans see you having fun, they're gonna have fun,
Exactly.
and then now you're both having fun, and that's the whole vibe. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and being the drummer, and let's be honest, we're not all going to shows to watch the bass player. You know, I mean, if we're gonna be real here. But most 9 times out of 10, people are watching the drummer. Because you have more things in front of you. You
Exactly. Yeah.
have more going on, more dynamic. you know. But
You guys are the hardest ones to get pictures of too.
oh yeah, I am so anti-picture. You know, this is probably the first time I've ever had my full face on screen. You know,
I know it's always like,
my and I've become so known for that too. And
yeah,
I'll post a full face picture out of the blue on Facebook, and it's like, oh my god,
everyone's losing their shit.
are you a real person?
Yeah.
And I've just it's another thing for me. Music has given me so much confidence in myself. I'm not the kind of person that has a lot of confidence in myself, and that's just who I am. So I spend my time building up other people because I find joy in that. Everyone has something they do for fun,
Exactly.
and that's for me. So taking selfies or whatever has never been my thing.
Yeah.
So I figured, well, I'll just start halfway and see where I go. And then that just became who I was. Just
Yeah.
the half face guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But music is a confidence thing for me. when I'm behind a kid on any stage, a little bar, a big stage, that's who I am. That's my safety net. That's my comfort zone.
Exactly.
And that's where I am me. I'm nobody else. I'm just me. Take it or
Yeah.
leave. So
I mean, I can honestly kind of relate to that only because I my anxiety is it's bad.
right,
So when I'm on like a live video like this right now, I'm okay because somebody else is with me. But
right.
as soon as I'm by myself, oh my God, it
Well,
takes a lot.
you know, and you being you are one of the people I appreciate most in my life. So I was able to come and do this, and feel okay. Because like
Yeah.
you, I have really, really bad anxiety, and I freak out, I even doing something like this where I know I only see me and you,
Yeah.
but I know other people, and it freaks me out.
Well, that's why I told you try to psych out your mind. Like right before we started this, I was like, psych out your mind. It's just a FaceTime. We're hanging out, we're talking. That's
Right.
it. And
Well,
honestly, that's how it has to be sometimes for me. It's just like, okay, I'm just talking to that person right there,
right.
and that's the only person that's ever going to see this.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever talked this much in my life. Ever.
No way.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Now, maybe when I'm drunk, but I don't remember. Other than pictures, but we're not gonna get into that.
Of
But
course.
when I'm normal, I mean, I don't like to talk a lot. I
Right.
don't like to be around people, and I know it sounds weird, and I don't mean it in a mean way. It's just bad.
Right.
So
Right. No, I completely understand. I mean, myself and my best friend, she's like my sister. Um, the both of us, she's like worse than I am when it comes to making videos. Like,
Right.
regardless if it's just like, hey, there's nobody there, but like you're recording yourself type of thing.
Right.
I mean, she's worse than I am, but where I'm trying to get her into the comfort zone because she's also starting to like promote and stuff now too. And I'm like, you gotta get used to it. You just gotta psych your mind out and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to
You just
work with
got to
her on
do it.
it.
You just got to do. You can talk about 80 different scenarios in your head, but
Hmm.
until you just do it, you're
Hmm.
never going to do it.
Yep.
That's with this. I just did it.
Yeah.
Music. You just don't ever let something hold you back in life. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail a billion times.
Hmm.
You're gonna suck at something. You're not gonna be good. But don't let that stop you.
Exactly.
Have fun,
Everything's
get
trial
better.
and error.
Yeah, exactly. Learn from it. Have fun. Study it. Just
Yep.
do whatever you got. Be you. And that's what the world needs. Is just people to do their thing and just have
Exactly.
fun. Imagine if everyone in the world just had fun.
It would
You
be
know,
so much fun.
it
It'd
would
be
be
so
awesome.
much fun.
We'd all
Oh my
be
gosh.
drunk at raves every day. Black lights and Slayer. It'd be a
Hmm.
great night. But you know,
Absolutely. All right. So I only have a few more questions left for you. So who are your biggest influences when it comes to music?
um, well, I got two influences. You probably know them. Two real good tech buddies of mine. A guy named Kip and a guy named Tommy. Um, they work for the band Warrant. You know,
Okay.
one of his Sweet Cherry Pie.
Hmm.
every strip club in America knows that song.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
those two guys are such big influences in my life, especially coming off this divorce and coming back to music.
Right.
Uh, Heroes. First and foremost, I had to get that out of the way. Music wise, Cody Hansen has been my biggest influence from Hinder. I literally have 3 or 4 Hinder tattoos on my body.
Oh wow.
Um, he's my favorite drummer ever. Most people are like John Bonham, Lars, and I'm yeah sure they're great, but I'm also not from that generation.
Right.
You know, Cody is he's a real big influence on me. And not a lot of people like him. They're sure whatever. I love them.
Yeah.
They got me through my first high school breakup, my first middle school
Oh.
breakup. You know what I mean? Divorces, bad nights, good nights. Um, but yeah, so I mean, there's a ton of musicians out there. Um, there used to be a guy, Chachi from Pop Evil. He's no longer
Okay.
with them anymore. I love we Saliva and Pop Evil toured, and man, every night I was just living the dream watching him play.
Yeah.
So uh, I don't want to necessarily say I'm influenced by Paul, but he's a hell of a drummer,
Right.
and that's my tour bus bunk drinking buddy. We had we had a lot of good nights. So I'm not necessarily influenced by just one drummer. I'm influenced by the band.
Right.
The band as a whole is where I take my influence from, not
Okay.
not just necessarily the drummers.
Okay. All right. So, what is your favorite Hinder song of all time?
Oh man,
Yeah, I just did that. I just put you on the spot.
uh, anyone else would be like, "Get Stoned," "Lips of an Angel." They put this album out. And I think it was in 2017, maybe it was 2018, called "The Rain."
Okay.
Um, you know, and there's a song called "Making It Hard," which is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Um, that or they did in 2005 they did "Take It to the Limit," and I believe it was on that album. I could be wrong, but it was a song called "One Night Stand."
Okay.
Also pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
And that kind of music and that kind of life, like I saw the video to Get Stoned, where they're partying, at the hotel by the pool and
Hmm.
that. And I'm like, I'm 14 or 15. I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
want to live that kind of life. Strippers and fast cars and money and more
It's just
strippers.
like Rockstar, Nickelback.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like I need that
yeah.
life.
And I'm making this bold claim right now. I am probably the biggest Nickelback fan in the world. Hands.
Honestly, I don't understand why they receive so much hate, but I don't mind them at all.
Oh, I don't. I've loved Nickelback since, obviously in '95 I was 5 years old, but
Yeah.
that's when their first album came out. They didn't get popular until I think it was '99 or 2001. Figured You Out came out.
Yep.
You know, and then they just went uphill. Rockstar, Animals, all that.
Oh,
I'm just like,
Animals is that'll always be one of my favorites by them.
Animals used to be my favorite song to warm up to when I drum. That was my thing. But I love old Nickelback. The commercial Nickelback, Rockstar. I don't ever think I could fully believe someone who says they don't like Rockstar.
Yeah.
That is an anthem.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure. I actually saw them open up for it was like the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, but they opened up for Bon Jovi in 2005.
what a hell of a show.
Oh my God. I was mind blown. They put on a hell of a show.
Oh
They
yeah,
are really good live.
I've seen them more times than I can imagine, and they're just so fun.
Yeah.
They're the most hated band in America, yet they're one of the all-time highest sellers out of Canada.
Oh,
you
for
know,
sure.
they're one of the most popular rock bands of all time. Nobody can dispute that. You
Yeah.
know,
No, I
number
definitely agree. And with all the hate that they get, it's like, well, you still have that name in your mouth, so you must give a shit about something, you know?
I mean, no publicity is bad publicity. I can't say that word. you know,
Yep.
Unfortunately, and I'm not going to get into this too much, but there was a certain country musician, that had an incident, about what was that, a few weeks ago?
Poor Morgie.
you know, I I don't agree with it. you know, I don't think you should be blackballed from the music industry. I think you need to learn and you need to get help. you know,
Yeah, and
but
honestly, the reason I don't agree with it is just because the word is disgusting.
yes,
However,
very.
people have said so much more worse. And,
Oh yeah,
like, come on,
and
you
I
know?
and I I get it, but let's look at after this happened. He had 7 of the top 10 singles on the country charts. 7 out of 10. I think his album sales, went up by 300%
Yeah,
a few days after that. So I mean, I don't agree with what he did because I hate that word. you know, I think he needs
yeah,
to, get not help, but figure out you're young. You're making too many reckless mistakes, and you're the hottest country. You're in the spotlight. You've
yeah,
got to be the role
exactly.
model. So I don't agree with that. But back to what I said, any publicity is, there's no such thing as bad publicity. I
Right,
don't.
exactly.
So,
Right, exactly. All right, so this is going to make or break our friendship.
uh-oh.
How do you feel about Tommy Lee?
Oh, let me tell you, Tommy Lee, I would give anything to go back to the 80s for one day on the
Oh,
Sunset Strip. one day to do a, to on the Sunset Strip in, Cali. Um, and just be Tommy Lee.
mhm.
I watched The Dirt and I'm like, man, I thought I wanted, the future music on. I want to go back and I want to be
Yeah,
Tommy Lee so bad.
yeah.
I wouldn't even mind being one of the hookers. I just want to live. I want to live in that time. Tommy
My
Lee,
best
he's done.
friends talk about that all the time with me.
He's done his fair share of stupid stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, he influenced. That band. They influenced music. I mean,
Yeah,
they were an influencer of their time. Everybody says, the 80s were the time for music, and they were.
yep,
You had Motley Crue, Rat, Poison, Warrant, Tesla, all these bands, but Motley Crue, were trashing hotel rooms, doing coke, banging strippers, getting in the fights, just
yep.
living the life, and I would say obviously it worked out for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
They were supposed to have their reunion tour,
I don't want
last
to
year.
talk about it. I have
Oh, I know.
tickets.
I do too. I was ready for a Dallas, Arlington, you know, and It never, but it'll happen. Music will come back.
Yeah,
It's slowly starting to come back. I think it's going to get worse again before it gets better.
absolutely.
But it's going to come. If not, we'll just revolt and then just go crazy on everybody and bring the 80s back to 2022.
Which I wouldn't mind whatsoever. Not in the slightest would I mind that.
Right.
All right. Well,
So
is there anything?
I'm all for it.
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
give
for
anything.
sure. Is there anything that you would like to promote besides Nine Left Dead, of course? Is there any like
Um,
shameless plugs that you would like to put in?
Besides promoting you as one of the most amazing people ever,
Oh, thank you.
just if you want to play music, I think my phone's dying, so I'm losing connection. But
Okay.
I'll say this: if you want to play music, don't be afraid. Take that leap. Just Hinder has a song called "Best Is Yet to Come." Just go for it. Just dive in head first, and literally live your life with no regret. Have fun. Also, check out the Kip and Tommy Show. Kip and
Yes.
Tommy Show. Just check it out: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all that, because those are my baby boys. But them, you, you know, y'all just amazing people, amazing supporters,
I
amazing
appreciate that.
humans. Outside of music, you are just an amazing human.
Thank you. I
You're what
appreciate
the
that.
you're what the world needs. So
I'm sure my mom would not agree with you.
she probably would. My mom definitely wouldn't agree with me if I said that about me. You know, she'd be like, "Nah, hell no." So,
Yeah,
but
whatever.
just everybody, just go out there and do your thing. And even if it ain't music,
Absolutely.
maybe you want to sing like opera. You go sing opera.
Yep.
Maybe you want to, maybe not be a drug dealer. I probably wouldn't recommend that. Unless you get in with like the cartel.
My
You know,
God.
but and then you're pretty set. You move down to Mexico and you're set. If you want to get into sports, even if you suck, nobody's born perfect. You know,
Exactly. And
well,
once again, that's
except for Maria Brink from In This Moment. I don't think she was born with any flaws. But other
true.
than that, get into music, get into sports, get into accounting, whatever you want to do. Be yourself, have fun, because I promise you, when you have fun, it's all going to work out.
Yep. Exactly.
And you just got to do
Exactly.
it. Don't be afraid. Drink Fireball,
Jack
Buffalo Wild
Daniels
Wings.
too.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Jack
don't know.
Daniels,
All right, then okay.
Jameson.
You have B Dubs and Fireball. I have Jack and Jim and Taco Bell. That's what we're promoting right now.
That's all we need. Boom,
Yep.
boom.
All
At
right,
Taco
guys.
Bell. Oh,
Yeah, I know, right? All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this interview since Mister's phone is about to die and I'm all out of questions because he answered everything. Um, we're gonna end this. So A plus, good job on your interview. You did great. And C,
sweet.
if you just go out and do it, it was a successful. I can't even say that interview. So there you go. That was
Boom.
like
We did
perfect
it.
example that you can go out and do whatever you want to do. Just like he
Yes.
said, go have fun. If you don't know a lot about it, go study it, just like he said.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. And if you ever need anybody to try and guide you, I'm sure that there's more than enough peers around you. And don't be afraid to reach out to anybody.
I'm on every social media platform. Just hit me up. Don't be
Exactly.
afraid. Any
Exactly.
questions, don't be afraid. I'll be more afraid to talk to you than you will to hit me up.
Exactly. Yep.
So
Yeah. Thanks,
cool.
anxiety.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, I
Also at
hope you,
Fireball.
yeah, at Fireball plug, shameless plug. Um, but I hope you guys had fun watching this interview, and there's going to be many more to come. Make sure that on Facebook you go follow Nine Left Dead. They are coming out with some good stuff. And yeah, that's
Follow
pretty
you.
much it. And follow
Follow
me.
you. Follow
Follow
you more
Smash
than
Attack.
don't follow us until you follow you. Twice.
Okay.
And then follow us.
Okay.
Maybe follow you, unfollow you, follow you again, then follow us.
All right. Since we are losing him this
Yeah.
way, since we're losing him, we're going to go. So All of you stay safe.
Peace.
Stay warm.
Yes.
Depending on where you are.
Put pants on. I won't, but you put pants on.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Peace.